They do compete for the houses and all that, but starlings are here. There's nothing we can do about it. The big problem with bluebirds was about 20 years ago when so many of them died by being smothered in these tobacco sheds. There's a little chimney on top of a tobacco shed up here in Tennessee or Kentucky, and it was warm naturally. It was for curing. The starlings, the bluebirds would cram in there, sometimes a dozen or more. They'd suffocate to death. And they estimate that between 5 and 6 million bluebirds die because of those tobacco sheds. And it may have been the determining thing. Now it's true they compete with starlings, but so do tree swallows. In fact, they're even more aggressive. And yet, tree swallows native, so you say that's all right. Remember, we're all aliens too. In fact, the Indians were when they first came. So things extend their ranges. Of course, the starling was liberated here deliberately back in New York City some years ago, and has spread across the country. It's all the way to Alaska now. House sparrow didn't even quite make Alaska, which is interesting. And starlings all the way down to Mexico now. There's nothing we can do about it.
So what can we do to help the bluebird?
Just put up lots more bluebird houses so that they've got a choice. If they get crowded out of one, they'll take another. Bluebirds are rather docile birds. They're not aggressive, and therefore they can't quite put up a fight with a tree swallow or a starling. I would just put up more houses. And another thing is, Chautauqua County is going back to woods. See, when it was more of an agricultural county with a lot of old orchards and that's the proper place for bluebirds. And you've got, in fact, this should be rather good. I don't suppose there are bluebirds here, are there? Right here?
Not right here.
But do you see any reason there shouldn't be?
No, because they're on the hills surrounding us.
Yeah.
Uphill, just over across the expressway.
Now you should put up some bluebird boxes here. Are there?
There haven't been any yet.
Now put up some boxes, and I think you'll...
There are just up on the hill at the airport.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So bluebirds are doing well in Chautauqua County now. They're coming back.
Crows are such scavengers, and they're so opportunistic. Do they steal baby birds or
Once
eggs?
in a while, but this is why birds raise tuberoses, because it takes care of the predation, you might say. Now, after all, everything eats something else. Even wheat eats something else. And I don't worry about crows one bit. In fact, we've got a pair of crows right outside my studio, and they are very quiet about it. We even have a pair around all the supermarkets in town. They have learned to live with us, and there's nothing more difficult from a human animal to live with. So I rather admire crows that they don't they're not particularly aggressive. They're very shy. So enjoy the crows. They're one amongst the brightest birds. You have to be bright to live with people.
Thank you.
Now, I sound slightly liberated right now, but the older I get, the more I realize that there are other things in the world besides people. We always think in an egocentric way about ourselves. Jim, have you got some questions? How are the clubs doing around the nature center?
The after-school clubs, good.
Yeah.
We've got a number of them going in several schools in the county.
That's wonderful. I gather it's one of the best jobs being done in the whole state. Is that true?
I'd like to think so.
Well, this is what I've heard. It's a model for and I think, the RTP Institute certainly should cooperate with you, and I hope they are.
They are, very much
because,
so.
In a way, we should use you as a model for others to follow.
We're working together on a number of things.
Good.
It's working out
Has
well.
it always been that way?
Yes.
Good.
You'll have to come down and see how our progress we're making on our...
Because I read the bulletins from time to time. It sounds great.
Thank you.
You should see the new building, how it's progressing.
I'd love to see
The addition.
I have a lot of prints that if you need anything with wall space, not just prints, but blow-ups of some bird photographs. See, at my age, curious enough, my therapy is bird photography, because my ears are no longer what they were. They're not like Bob Sindel's. I can't hear some of the higher notes. But it's still better than it should be at my age. But my eyes are my real problem because I've had cataracts removed, and so 20 minutes and you could sketch it. Well, so all my old sketchbooks are full of these two birds. And the thing is, you know, birds are so quick, and usually you think you've timed it right and you got the head turned, and one shot out of three will turn up. You can study these video shots. This is very good equipment now, and see what happens, and then do your studies.
I do have a question for you. Did you ever get any pictures of the polar bear up at Churchill?
I did from yes, I've got that.
Good.
But only from the deck of the ship. I'm just going to give a general talk that some of you may have heard before, so please bear with me because most of you forget it anyway, and so I can use this one. By the time I've told, there's a goldfinch flying. See that wonderful zipping flight?
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
that's a good picture. How many of your first field guides with the errors were printed before the errors were found?
Are you talking about the
Your 1934 field
oh, the
guide.
first one? What's the matter? It's a matter of error. Here you mean errors?
Well, in the birds, the shading in the bird's neck,
Oh,
and
that,
also
that.
the index mistake.
That's a matter of engraving. Yes, I can always tell the first printing of the first edition,
2,500.
which was 2,000 copies. And because on the Whistling Swan plates, the grays weren't cleaned out of the neck.
Well, was the index mistake in the same,
Yes,
you found at the same time?
yes.
Now, what word in the index was it?
It was Bob Pumper instead of Bob Pumper, the nickname for the bidder.
See, I have two of those books, and I wasn't sure of the index mistake.
Yes, and you've got the dust jacket as well.
I don't have the dust jacket.
Because you know, if you've got the dust
I
jacket.
heard you're looking for a dust jacket. Is
Well, I
this
don't
true?
have one myself, but it came out for $2.75. They were all gone overnight, and I was to get no royalty on the first 1,000. I didn't mind because no one had any money in those days. Well, now they never print less than 100,000, and in fact, it's up to about 6 million copies, I think. But if you can get one of that first printing with a dust jacket, it's worth $1,500.
Without it, it's worth probably 1,000.
I don't know, but as much as you can get. This is the way the world is. It's
Well, I know.
and